Most people don't realize that the way someone hugs you can say more than their words ever do. A tight hug is not random, and it is rarely just polite. Psychology shows that when a woman hugs you tightly, something deeper is happening beneath the surface. By the end of this, you will understand what a tight hug often signals emotionally, what the brain is doing in that moment, and how context changes the meaning entirely. This is not about guessing feelings or forcing interpretations. It is about learning to read human behavior with clarity instead of confusion. Human touch is one of the earliest forms of communication we ever learn. Long before language develops, the nervous system uses pressure, warmth, and closeness to create safety and connection. A tight hug activates the same systems that regulate trust and emotional bonding. When a hug is firm rather than loose, the body is signaling presence. It means the person is not halfway in or distracted. They are fully there, even if it is for a few seconds. From a neurological perspective, tight hugs stimulate the release of oxytocin. This chemical is associated with attachment, calm, and emotional closeness. The brain does not release it casually or without reason. This does not automatically mean romantic attraction. That assumption often leads people astray. A tight hug can mean emotional safety, relief, reassurance, or deep familiarity. Context is everything, and psychology never looks at behavior in isolation. A tight hug after a long absence carries a different meaning than one in a casual greeting. The nervous system responds to timing, history, and emotional background. Consider a moment when someone hugs you tightly after a stressful day. That hug is often about regulation, not attraction. It is the body saying, "I feel safer when you're close." Have you ever noticed how some hugs feel grounding while others feel rushed or empty? That difference is not imagined. The brain reads intention through pressure and duration. A tight hug often reflects emotional trust. It suggests that the person feels comfortable lowering their guard around you. Emotional safety is a prerequisite for physical closeness that feels natural rather than forced. In many cases, a tight hug is a form of emotional anchoring. It is a way of stabilizing feelings in the presence of someone familiar. The hug becomes a pause, not just an action. Psychology also shows that people hug tighter when they feel vulnerable. Vulnerability does not always look like sadness. It can appear during happiness, relief, or emotional overwhelm. This is why tight hugs often happen during transitions. Reunions, goodbyes, and emotionally charged moments trigger them. The nervous system seeks connection during emotional shifts. Now, consider the difference between a brief squeeze and a sustained tight hug. Duration changes meaning. A longer hug allows the nervous system to fully settle. When a woman hugs you tightly and does not pull away quickly, it often means she feels emotionally present with you. She is not rushing to exit the moment. That matters. But here's a surprising insight. Tight hugs can also appear when someone is holding back words. When emotions are not fully expressed verbally, the body often speaks instead. This does not mean hidden romantic feelings by default. It means unspoken emotional weight. That weight can be affection, gratitude, or deep appreciation. Ask yourself this quietly. Does the hug feel intentional or automatic? Intentional hugs carry awareness, while automatic ones are habit-based. Psychology distinguishes between social touch and emotional touch. Social touch follows rules and expectations. Emotional touch responds to internal states. A tight hug usually belongs to emotional touch. It bypasses formality and goes straight to feeling. That's why it often feels memorable. The brain also mirrors intensity. When one person hugs tighter, the other often responds without thinking. This creates a feedback loop of connection. This is why tight hugs can feel powerful even if they're brief. They synchronize nervous systems for a moment. That synchronization is not accidental. In everyday life, you may notice tight hugs appear in trusted relationships. Close friends, family, or people who feel emotionally safe often hug this way. The body recognizes familiarity before the mind does. But what if the relationship is ambiguous? This is where confusion often starts. A tight hug and an unclear dynamic can feel loaded. Psychology suggests that ambiguity amplifies interpretation. When intentions are unclear, the mind searches for meaning. The hug becomes a focal point. Here's the key insight many miss. A tight hug reflects how someone feels in that moment, not necessarily how they feel overall. Emotions fluctuate more than people expect. Someone can feel close, safe, or emotionally connected without wanting anything more. The nervous system does not always align with long-term intentions. That does not make the hug meaningless. It makes it human. Emotional expression often exists in shades rather than categories. Another factor is personality. Some people are naturally more expressive through touch. Others reserve physical closeness for specific people. A tight hug from someone who rarely hugs carries different weight than one from someone who hugs everyone. Baseline behavior always matters. Stress also plays a role. During high stress, people often seek grounding through physical closeness. A tight hug can be a subconscious request for stability. Have you noticed how hugs feel different during difficult periods? The body leans into what feels steady. That steadiness can come from familiarity, not romance. There's also the concept of emotional memory. The body remembers how someone made it feel before. A tight hug can reactivate that memory instantly. This is why hugs can feel nostalgic or comforting. They tap into stored emotional associations. The brain does not separate past from present as cleanly as we think. Importantly, tight hugs are not contracts or promises. They are expressions, not commitments. Confusing the two often leads to misunderstanding. Psychology emphasizes reading patterns, not single moments. One hug means very little on its own. Repeated behavior reveals meaning. If tight hugs are consistent, contextually appropriate, and paired with other signs of emotional investment, they may indicate deeper attachment. If not, they may simply reflect momentary closeness. Here's a subtle pattern interrupt. Sometimes a tight hug is more about the hugger than the person being hugged. It can reflect their emotional state rather than their feelings towards you. This is why interpreting behavior requires humility. Human behavior is not a code to crack, it is a signal to observe. A tight hug can mean trust, comfort, relief, gratitude, or emotional grounding. Sometimes it means affection. Sometimes it means goodbye without words. The mistake many people make is rushing to label. Labels feel reassuring, but they often oversimplify. Psychology favors understanding over certainty. As you reflect on this, consider how the hug felt in your body. Emotional signals are often felt before they are understood. The body notices tone faster than the mind. The most important takeaway is this: a tight hug is a moment of connection, not a message to decode obsessively. Its meaning lives in context, consistency, and emotional alignment. When you stop over-interpreting and start observing patterns, clarity replaces anxiety. You begin to understand people without forcing conclusions. Human connection is subtle, layered, and deeply physical. Touch is one of its most honest languages, but it speaks in nuances. If this helped you see human behavior more clearly, take a moment to reflect on your own experiences. Notice patterns rather than isolated moments. And if you want more insights like this, you're welcome to stay connected, share your thoughts, and continue exploring how psychology shapes everyday interactions.